Hey all, welcome back. What I'm hoping to do with this dish is to get delicious food ready for you while you're not actively doing work for it. There's a bit of work ahead of time, a bit of planning, but most of the cooking, basically all of it, happens in the slow cooker or your instant pot. So you can really be doing whatever you need to attend to while dinner cooks itself, and it's gonna be amazing. Let's take a closer look at this slow cooked chicken tikka masala. Now this recipe closely follows my regular stovetop chicken tikka masala recipe, and that has a different texture than what you're gonna get with the slow cooked version, but they both will be tremendous. There'll be two steps in the marination for the chicken. The first only involves degi mirch, which is made of red capsicums, Kashmiri red chilies. It's mildly spicy but adds lots of color. Some lime juice and salt. And you let that sit for about 30 minutes before you add in some yogurt, some more degi mirch, garam masala, ginger garlic paste, and that is gonna be your final marinade. Salt you wanna add at this point as well. Don't add too much at this stage because the marinade will end up going into the actual sauce of the dish. Now, while ideally you would wanna marinate for about 6 to 8 hours, 2 to 3 hours is okay as well. And the cooking process is very simple. Now, if you have a slow cooker, then you have to do some of these initial steps on your stovetop. But if you have an instant pot that you can do saute and slow cook in the same machine, is pretty ideal. So for the saute, you wanna prep your garnish first, which is just made up of some onions and peppers, green and orange in this case, which I have just cut into these large cubes, and you just wanna cook with some olive oil until they are half cooked, so they would still have some crunch. Then you move on to the actual base of the sauce, which is gonna start with some olive oil, then cumin seeds. Get that nice and fragrant before you add in your finely chopped onions. Now the chopped is important because of the texture of the sauce that we're trying to get. Same goes for the ginger and garlic. It's not pureed, it's finely chopped, and that just really kind of adds to the rusticness of this version of the dish. You also need some butter, which I forgot to add earlier, so don't do the same mistake as me. Now you wanna cook the onions until they have softened before you add in ginger and garlic. Let that get fragrant before you add in diced tomatoes. We are using a combination of diced tomatoes and strained tomatoes or passata, but again, texture is everything in this dish. After tomatoes, you also want to add in your turmeric, ground coriander, and some degi mirch as well. That turmeric, the yellow, and the degi mirch will help give this an orangish kind of hue. And you are good to cook this down until those tomatoes have softened. Some salt here will do wonders. And then when you get there, that's the end of your cooking process that you have to be actively present for. Next, add in your passata. Now, along with the passata, you want to add in some of your honey to introduce a bit of sweetness in there, a touch of ground green cardamom, along with some kasuri methi, which is just dried fenugreek leaves, and you want to crush them lightly in your hands so that they release some of that aroma as they cook with the sauce. And then you add in your pieces of chicken. Now, don't dump the entire bowl of marinade, just the chicken, and you can let any excess marinade drip in the bowl or go into the actual sauce itself that we've created here. Just don't dump it all. Then give it a quick mix, add in some heavy cream, and close the lid of your instant pot. Now, if you were using a slow cooker to make this dish, then just transfer all the contents of the sauce base that we created from your saute pan, transfer that into your slow cooker before you add in the passata, honey, kasuri methi, and the chicken pieces. We're gonna now slow cook this for 6.5 hours on low. Now, you don't have to cook for 6.5 hours. If you are, let's say, making this on a weekend and you only started this at noon, let's say, and you want to eat much sooner, then you can like cook on slow cook high mode or like on higher temperature, but still slow cook, but then cook it for like a lesser duration, like half the time. So 2.5 to 3 hours would work much better in that case. But let's say you're at the office or you have to like go around some errands for a couple of hours, you start this in the morning, then 6.5 to 7 hours, let it cook, let your house smell amazing, and then when you get home, you're gonna see something that looks like this. Now, perfect, because the chicken is so nice and soft, and you just cannot get this texture by cooking it in the tandoor oven or in your oven or in the saute pan. Slow cooking just breaks down the fibers of those chicken thighs so well that it just melts in your mouth. You're gonna finish the dish now, so taste for salt, and we're gonna then finally garnish with those veggies that we had prepped earlier. This is now ready for you to enjoy, and I had this with some homemade white paratha bread, which is very similar to a rumali roti, and I'll link those two down below for you to enjoy.